One of the best ways to look for a job is to become a subject matter expert. You are giving advice and helping others. Help someone less fortunate in their job search. Volunteer. Offer to buy someone lunch. It's the giving that gets you to taking.
It's not what you know, but who you know. Have you ever heard that before? And when it comes to finding a job, your personal connections and your contacts can make all the difference on the job that you get. Because, spoiler alert, not every job out there is listed on a message board. Sometimes the best opportunities are the ones that never get published on LinkedIn or Indeed or wherever you're trying to find your next position. But if you've heard of networking, but it kind of freaks you out, today's show is for you because we have networking expert Lori Rifkin of Lunch with Lori and Clarity Management. Lori, been a minute since I've seen you. How you been?
I'm doing great, and it's a pleasure being on your show, Pat, and more of a pleasure to be able to help your listeners looking for a job because I've been in that boat many times, and I've learned a lot over the years that it is the people you know who help you get a job, not necessarily having a resume.
So why do people not think that way in the first place? I think people have a negative perception when it comes to networking. Where did all that come from?
I have two theories on that. One, many people try networking and don't see instantaneous results. And so they say this doesn't work. And then there's the second school, introverts. I'm an introvert. When I first started networking, it terrorized me. So I never gave it a fair chance. I never thought I could be successful at it. No one ever gave me tips or tricks or tools to allow me as an introvert to network as good as an extrovert.
As an introvert yourself, how do you deal with it?
The answer was so simple. You are an actor in a play at a networking event or when you go networking for 1 hour. All you do have to do is act the part for a short period of time. Then you could go back to your introverted shell like I do. But in that hour that you're acting, you are as good as any extrovert out there.
All right, well, let's get down to it then. If you're a job seeker, you're trying to find your next big opportunity, let's start getting some advice directly to them. If I were trying to find a job, what are some of the best tips that you would tell me when it comes to networking and meeting people?
You got to understand that networking is based on science and math, and people never think of it that way. It's an exponential function. That means it takes a long period of time to build up. So if you're going to go out there and network for a job, understand it's a 6 to 12 month process. The second part is the science behind it. It's based on the laws of conservation of energy, and that says you can't create or destroy energy, but you could transfer it. So you need to give energy to your network. It's the opposite of what people think. People go to network and want to take energy from the network. They want to take a job. They want to take a business. It's the opposite. You have to give before you can even take.
But what does that look like? If you don't know anybody in a room and you're there to try and win favor so you can get a job, how do you add energy to that room? Give us some practical ideas on what that means.
If you're looking for a job, one of the best ways to look for a job is to become a subject matter expert. You are giving advice and helping others. Help someone less fortunate in their job search. Volunteer. You have to give. Offer to buy someone lunch. It's the giving that gets you to taking. Most people network upside down. They immediately go for the tank. And I know that because I did that. When I was unemployed years ago, I'd meet somebody early in my conversation and say, "You know anyone looking to hire in my position?" That doesn't work. Yes, there are some success cases from that. It would have been better saying, "How can I help you? Tell me about yourself." It should always be about the other person, not yourself. So that's counterintuitive, but that's what really drives networking success.
So you're giving them advice or information about what you're a subject matter expert on. Am I hearing you right?
Correct. You need a networking persona. Most people have a networking pitch, but a networking persona is what you could give people, how you are different, because people remember people are different, and your pitch. And then you got to combine that with a network marketing plan. You got to have some plan of what you're going to do. And when you put that together and go out, the key to finding out about people is asking questions. I always call it a series of cascading questions, and they're not about the job you want. They're about the person you're talking to. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? Because imagine, say, I like fishing, and I'm interviewing. I want to interview for a job, and I'm talking to people all over. And I ask what are their hobbies, and I find 5 or 6 people who like fishing as a hobby, and I start talking to them. Then later on, I could ask for a job. They're going to be more interested in helping me because we have common ground established. So the key is asking questions about people on a personal level.
How can you follow up with the folks that you're talking to at these networking events to leave a lasting impression?
Well, one, I would always get people's business cards, so you have their contact information. I would connect them on LinkedIn, but in the connection note, I would put some customized thing. It was a pleasure meeting you at the networking event. If there's any way I could ever help you, please let me know. And if you're interested in a one-on-one meeting, I'd love to buy you breakfast or lunch. Notice what I said. I didn't ask for help for myself, how I could help them.
Mhm.
And I asked them for a one-on-one meeting.
How should a job seeker be using LinkedIn on their career search?
Well, I'm again, because I'm the upside down networking guide. First, I would tell you establish some kind of subject matter expertise, be publishing articles, helping other people commenting. So before you actually go into job search on LinkedIn, establish yourself as somebody people want to connect with. I'm a believer that content overrules sometimes having a perfect profile. So put good content out there. Everyone's different to some degree. Write some content. It doesn't have to be perfect. That held me back
Mhm.
for years on LinkedIn. I thought the content had to be perfect. The real thing is starting is more important than having perfect content. You'll get better over time. No one expects you to be the best the day you start, but you have to start and be consistent.
I think that's a very undervalued strategy. If you're active on there every day, engaging with people that are creating content, connecting people that should know one another, and cheering people on that are doing things, that's a fast way to get noticed, especially for some of the biggest people that you can think of. Everybody wants a fan.
I have a thing for job seekers. I'll call it ditch the resume for 2 weeks and only do network one-on-one meetings and get 100 meetings under your belt and tell me how that feels in your job search. Because when you send out resumes, it goes in the bottomless pit of that resume tornado or vortex. When you meet people one-on-one, you get instant feedback. And to enter your one-on-one meetings, I even do this to this day, ask, what could I have done better to prepare for this meeting? Is there any suggestions you have for me? Ask for that feedback, because when you submit a resume, you get zero feedback.
100 meetings sounds like overwhelming, but after 100 meetings, wouldn't you think that someone's going to find a better job or a more specialized job than they would have if they were just cruising Indeed trying to find a position?
Not only are you going to find a job, my networking viewpoint is very broad. Networking helps you find jobs, business, vendors, and friends. They're probably going to get some friends out of 100 meetings. They might find vendors they could bring to another job. If they do those 100 meetings and really get to know people, it's going to enrich their life overall. And if you're looking for a job, you need help from people.
And it's more important to be known, liked, and trusted than maybe even what you know. Like I opened the show, who you know is more important than what you know. And that's really what you're saying is that you meet people on a personal level and they might be more willing to give you a chance or an opportunity if they know, like, and trust you.
That's 100% correct.
Lori Rifkin, Lunch with Lori, thanks for being on the show. It's great to see you again, my friend.
Always glad to help your listeners, Pat. Take care.
Hey, it's Pat Miller, the Idea Coach, here from the Interview Podcast. If you enjoyed this information and you want to watch more of the podcast or some other helpful videos like resume tips, interview best practices, and more career training info, you can get it on our website. And here's the best part. It's all free. Check out the website at careerdevelopmentsolutions.com/webinars. One more time, that's careerdevelopmentsolutions.com/webinars. See you there.